Assalamu alaikum, this is no BS outreach masterclass, nothing held back, all secrets revealed, unstoppable guide to signing 10 clients in the next 2 months. I signed 15 clients for my business in 2 months using these exact strategies, and I'm sick of people not sharing things and information that could help the Ummah succeed. So here's the one outreach method that takes me less than 1 hour a day and books me 5 to 10 appointments every single week. And I call it the DM flow. And this is what the DM flow looks like from a high level. You've got a value-based permission, you've got a VSL, plus you're giving value to them, you're offering a meeting, and then you follow up. So let's start with a value permission. You want to be sending a personalized video that promises to solve a problem and asks permission to share more, just like in a cold call. This is the key differentiator between every single other outreach method. You're not sending a block of text. It is either a video or a voice note of you asking permission to share more information. And I'll show you the exact script to do this, but I want you to understand why this is so effective. Because when people receive messages from you, it doesn't matter how good your offer is. The likelihood of succeeding in the first place is going to be incredibly low. Simply because they might just not open your message in the first place. They might not even see your message. When people see that, hey, I hope you're doing well on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on Facebook, they're just not going to want to open it, are they? And when you're sending DMs, you want to almost interrupt every single expectation that these people have. You want to interrupt their pattern as much as you can. You want to make sure that everything that they expected, which is to get a horrible cold DM from someone who's just going to pitch them something they don't need, disappears just like that. And for you to break their pattern, you have to understand that it starts with the actual method itself. You want to send a voice note or a video. Now, the script itself isn't as important. But as you can see here from Cash, who was one of my first clients that I ended up working with my agency, the promise that I gave him was to solve a problem. You'll see in the script, this is the key parts I want you to give because I want to give you the principles that you can go out and apply. The part was about solving the problem. And I asked his permission for me to share information about solving that problem, just like I would in a cold call. So the script, and like I said, you want to make it no longer than 20 seconds, is, hey Kashif, it's Fedi, it was great to be connected. I was curious if you were open to me sharing with you a few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. I didn't want to bombard you with any information without your permission, so let me know with a thumbs up if you'd like to learn more. Now, I'm going to break this down for you fully so you understand why this works and how you can apply it to yourself. Because you might decide, Fedi, I'm just going to copy and paste exactly what you said, and I know it's going to work. I think it will work. I'll be honest with you. If you would literally just copied word for word what I said right here, and you sent it to dentists if you work with dentists, this will work for you. However, you have to understand the principles, the fundamentals behind it. So even if you're in a different niche, even if something changes, you can continue making it work. So that if you find out maybe it doesn't work, you know what to change, you know how to make it work later on. So why does this message work so well? Well, obviously I'm saying, hey Kashif, right? Hey Cash, as I like to call him. Hey Cash. This is clearly to him. It's personalized. You cannot automate this. It's Fedi. It's great to be connected. That's a very kind of low friction, kind of easy way to say hello without me basically being fake. Because it is great to be connected with Cash, right? I don't have to say, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fantastic. You can do. But for me, I found just being direct and being honest with these things is a lot easier because I'm finding it very, very hard to fake asking someone, how are you? And I hope they're doing well. And I find it incredibly easy just to say, it's great to be connected. Because genuinely, that you'll see how important tonality is in this. You want to sound incredibly confident and you want to make this sound very natural. You want to almost assume that they're your friend. Because when they assume that you're being friendly to them, it comes from the assumption that they're already your friend from you. Okay? So when you say, I was curious if you were open to me sharing with you a few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments, there are 3 parts to this sentence. The first part is, I was curious if you were open. The whole point of saying, I was curious if you were open, is to make a very open-ended statement. I was curious. Very, like, it's very non-threatening, if you will. If you were open, doesn't put anything on them. You see, with this entire thing, right, if you want to understand the psychology of it, by giving people a way out, they're more likely to find a way in. When you try and trap someone, they will always try and escape. If you try and force someone to do something, they are 1, not likely to adhere to it, and 2, even if they do adhere to it, they will not try and adhere to it for a very long time. And if they do adhere to it for a very long time, they become resentful of you, which is the last thing you want in your agency. The last thing you want is someone who's half in and doesn't even book a meeting with you because they're trying to find a way out of your outreach messages. You also want to escape the horrible client, and I've had them before, horrible clients, where everything you do, they just don't like. They don't like it, they don't want to help you with it, etc. So what you want to understand is that you want to give them a way out. By making an open-ended statement, you're almost saying, hey look, if you're open, and if you're not open to it, that is absolutely fine. Which is what we're doing basically when we ask for their permission. It's like, dude, That's fine. There's no pressure in this. You can do whatever you want to do. And by doing this, what we're actually kind of achieving for ourselves is increasing the likelihood of them actually moving forward with it. That's the cool thing about it. Like you might say, well, Fedi, if I give them the option, they might just say no. Well, actually, they're more likely to say yes and continue on and then be committed to that continuation than if they said no. They're more likely to say yes than they are to say no. But secondly, they are more committed to that continuation, which is very, very important. So when you continue the DM flow that I'm going to be sharing with you, you'll have prospects that are actually engaged, prospects that actually want to have a meeting with you. So a few ways, the next part is with you, a few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. Open to me sharing with you a few ways. I don't make any bold statement. I don't kind of sell my offer in any way. What I'm saying is, look, I just want to share with you a few ways for you to be able to achieve this thing. That's it. It's just a few ways. There's nothing else to it. Like I said, there's no pressure in this situation or anything like that. It's just, are you happy with me sharing with you a few ways to do X, Y, Z? And to do X, Y, Z, which is the third key part of this kind of statement, is how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. You see, I'm using the language of my prospects. Every single day when Cash goes into work, he's not talking about meetings, he's not talking about bookings, he's not talking about sales, he's talking about consultations and treatments. What consultations do I have booked in today? What treatments do I have booked in today? That's what he's looking for in his calendar. So when I speak his language, not only does he have to think less, but he now also presumes that I understand him. He presumes that I have been in his world and I understand what he goes through and what he's thinking. And you see the parts I've underlined are parts you really want to emphasize when you read this out loud, right? So I was curious if you were open to me sharing with you a few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. You see, when you highlight these things, what Cash has in his mind is more treatments, more consultations, which is all he cares about, right? Because obviously that's how he makes money in his business. And then the permission statement itself, which is my favorite part, because you kind of, the belief I used to have when it came to cold DMs is that it's very pressure, just with cold outreach in general. I used to think there was a lot of pressure to it. But kind of this way of doing it destroyed my belief straight away, because I'm like, I'm giving them the permission that there is no pressure. They don't have to say yes to me. And if they do say yes, then cool, amazing. I'm going to give them value with the VSL. So what you want to do is almost break that belief already, and we'll be talking about beliefs later on as a little spoiler, right? But when you say, I didn't want to bombard you with any information without your permission, so let me know the thumbs up, and then you give them the thumbs up so they can see it, because when people see you do something, they are more likely to continue it. If I nodded at you like this for the entire video, then at the end of the video, you'd find yourself nodding. We just like to mirror the people that we're talking to, the people that we're looking at. So pop them a thumbs up, because heuristically, right, they're more likely to continue and do it as well. So if you'd like to learn more, that's it. Very, very low pressure. If you'd like, not like there's not, if you need to, there's just, if you'd like to learn more, then I'm more than happy to share it with you. So I'm going to repeat it one more time, and I want you to really listen to the tonality this time, because I'm going to be focused on how you should be trying to deliver this. Hey Cash, it's Fedi. It's great to be connected. I was curious if you're open to me sharing with you a few things, a few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. And I didn't want to bombard you with any information without your permission. So let me know with a thumbs up if you'd like to learn more. That's it, right? And like I said, this is going to be the biggest differential when it comes to the actual messages you send to people in DMs. Like if you just applied this alone and you applied nothing else in the entire video, you'll find you have a lot more positive replies and a lot more people want to actually book a meeting with you overall. So if you just apply this, perfect. By the way, as a little action step, I would say, brother, because I know you're someone who's taking action, write out your own little script based on like a personalized video that promises to solve a problem. See, I solved the problem, which is getting more consultations and more treatments, and asks permission. There you go. I ask permission to share more, right? And I'm keeping it very open-ended. There's no pressure whatsoever in this message. So the next part is the value in the VSL. And the reason I say value is simply because you have to get in the mindset of your VSL provides value to people. Like it generally does. Your VSL will provide value to people. And this VSL highlights the offer. It focuses on the solution. This is something you've heard me say a couple times already. It gives them a guarantee, and it sells the meeting. So the VSL, how effective it is honestly going to be carried by how good your offer is. If your offer is absolute crap, then the VSL itself will be absolute crap. I'm going to take a quick sip of water before I continue, just because my throat is drying up. I'm going to keep that in the video because I can't be asked to edit it. Anyways, the VSL highlights the offer. It focuses on the solution. And again, it guarantees something. And what you want to do is almost guarantee the best possible solution. If you don't have a guarantee in your offer, the VSL will be weak. This is why I have it as part of the VSL. Like, I understand this is part of the offer. Like, when you highlight your offer, obviously that's an offer, and then the guarantee is part of the offer itself. But what I mean is, if they don't understand that there's a guarantee in the VSL, they are a lot less likely to book the meeting with you. Because the next part of this is actually booking the meetings, actually getting them to come into a call with you, right? So the script for the VSL is very, very simple. It's who you help, your promise, and as much social proof as you can. I'll give you examples of how each of these would go for my script. You want to give your strategy, which is the direct solutions to their problems. You also want to give them your guarantee and a reason to jump on a call with you. So when I go with who you help, for my example, it would be I work with independent dental practices who have 1 or 2 associate dentists. So it's very specific. My niche wasn't just dental niche. It was independent dental practices. So they weren't owned by a big corporation. And then it was, they already have 1 or 2 associates. So it's not just a 1-person band. It's they had 1 or 2 associate dentists. And then my promise to them was I will get you an extra 10 to 30 Invisalign patients every single month. And then in my VSL, when I first started, so if you're thinking, well, Fedi, I don't have any social proof, that's fine. I just reiterated my promise by saying, if I don't get you at least 10 new Invisalign patients every single month, I will continue working with you for free until I do. And then it's up to you whether or not you want to keep me on board, right? But if you do have social proof, and I did by kind of the second or third iteration of my VSL, so I changed it a couple times, and I'll show you by the end of the video when you should change your VSL, when you should change the messaging. But I also said that this is what we did for Robert, this is what we did for, and then I said the name of the practice, because the guy didn't want me to say his name, so I said the name of the practice. This is what we did for them. And then all I say is, this is the situation they were in, and this is the outcome they're in now. That's all you want to do. You want to sell the transformation when it comes to this. This is the problem they were facing. This is the kind of best case scenario they're dealing with now. They were getting only 1 new Invisalign patient, not every month, not every 2 months, every 3 months. And now they're getting 3, 4, 5 every single week. See the difference with that when you give the social proof. You want to give where they were to where they are. And then the strategy itself, which is the direct solutions. So one in the kind of VSL, you might say, well, look, we'll handle everything from A to Z, from generating high quality leads that are interested in showing up to the consultation, and then making sure with our reminder system that they show up to the consultation. And then once you got them on the treatment, is to continue having them come back, right? Or if they don't go for the treatment, then guess what? We'll follow up with them until they come back for another consultation where they do go for the treatment. We generate people who are interested, people who will show up, and people who are incredibly likely to jump onto the treatment, so that you don't have to stress any friction or any objections from people during your consultations. That's the strategy. You don't literally break it down and be like, we run Facebook ads, and then we do your funnels, and then with your funnels, we have an email marketing system. They don't care about that. Just focus on the outcome. What's the solution? Focus on the direct solution to their problem. And then you reiterate your guarantee. This is why I say it's such an important factor. You reiterate your guarantee. We guarantee you 10 to 30 new Invisalign patients every single month, or your money back. Or we continue working with you for free until you do get there. And then you give them a reason to jump on the call. You want to make this incredibly low pressure as well, right? So you give the permission again. You ask permission again. And look, if you're happy to jump on a call to talk a little bit more about this, then again, I don't want to send you anything without your permission. So just pop me a thumbs up. We'll have a low, low pressure call where we'll just get an idea of how we can potentially work together. So don't even bother bringing your card, and I'll see you on there. And then you put the little thumbs up again. And that's it, right? So what you want to understand is that you want to put as little pressure on jumping on the call as possible. This is what most people's outreach looks like. Hey, I can guarantee you 10 to 30 new Invisalign patients every single month. Are you happy to jump on a call to learn more? It's like, geez, dude, calm down, right? There's no value in this because you haven't even given me any direct solutions that you're telling me about. I get that there's a guarantee, but you just pressured me to jump on the call straight away. I don't even know who you are. This is the first touch point. Bear in mind, if you were to imagine that you were your prospect, you've seen the person that's reaching out to you. They've seen you in the video, or they've heard your voice in a voice note. And now they've seen your face in a VSL. So the trust is already a lot higher than if it was just a big block of text. And potentially, they would have gone through your social media profile to see what you look like. So this is why this is so powerful. It's because the trust is already there. So again, to highlight the main points about this, the VSL highlights the offer, it focuses on the solution, it gives them a guarantee, and it sells the meeting by saying the meeting is a low pressure environment. So what's next? Well, next is actually setting up the meeting. So now that you have permission again, so you had permission to send them a VSL, now you've got permission to send them your calendar, it's time to just send your calendar. And as you can see, this is one of the follow-ups that I'll show you how to do. But when you have permission to send the calendar, right, they should see the meeting as a way to solve their problems. So if they don't see the meeting, or if they don't see the call itself as a way to solve their problems, they will not ask you, they will not give you permission. This is the key thing. If people are going to say no to your VSL, it's either because they had the wrong expectations or because they don't actually see it as a solution. I want to give you a quick example. I worked with Ethan Welby's team. By the way, Ethan Welby is an absolutely amazing guy in SMMA. This is nothing against him or anything like that. I'm just giving an example of the fundamental principle of what it would look like. So Charlie, the person I reached out to here, he ended up not replying at all, even after all the follow-ups. Why is that? I strongly believe that Charlie, whatever situation he was in, this has nothing to do with Ethan, like I said, whatever situation he was in, he did not see it as a solution for him. He did not watch the VSL and think, yep, this is for me. So this is what you want to understand. A lot of the time, this is going to be in your control. If your offer does not resonate with your niche, then your VSL will not resonate with your prospects, right? Your resonation rate is going to be incredibly high when your offer is one that really fits with your niche. That's why you have to use their language. That's why you have to give them the exact outcome that they're looking for. Okay. So with the DM flow, next you've got the follow-ups. This is the follow-up schedule that I follow. A lot of the word follow in this, obviously. So after the permission message, I just send one follow-up saying, hey, did you manage to see the video? Right? If it's an introduction video, or hey, did you manage to listen to the voice note? And then the follow-up for the VSL and the calendar is the same. They're not the same memes. By the way, I'll show you that these 3 parts are memes. But one day after the VSL, one day after the calendar, I send a follow-up. Then 2 days after, I send a follow-up. Then 2 days after that one, so this is 4 days after the first, but 2 days after that, another follow-up. 2 days after that, another follow-up. 2 days after that, another follow-up, and then that's it. So I do 5 follow-ups in total. I used to do 7, but I found that I never had anything past 6 that worked, so I always stuck to 5. And the text follow-ups are going to be little bumps. So these are text follow-ups, right? So these are going to be little bumps. It's what you'd send your best friend if they didn't, like, if you send them a message saying, hey, are you down to go to this restaurant? And they didn't reply to you, it's one of those messages you reply with, right? So the text follow-ups are a little bump such as, hey, what did you think of that? And then their name, right? What did you think of that, John? Is that permission granted? Was the video that bad? That's one I loved sending for the VSL. Was the video really that bad? So all of these ones that I'm highlighting right here, those are text-based follow-ups. And then these 3, well, 6 in total, they're going to be meme follow-ups. So the example of meme follow-ups is just something really simple and quite funny, right? I think they're funny. They're not necessarily funny for everyone. So for example, if they didn't book through my calendar, I'd say this, me looking for the calendar notification, right? I'm just waiting for the calendar notification, bro. Where is it? You said, let's book a meeting. Where's the calendar notification? And then another one for one of my offers was I booked a call with Fedi and now I'm hitting all my goals. I ignored him and his messages and I'm still broke. Right? That one's a bit more direct and a bit mean, you could say. But this one is finding your purpose and making money, 9-to-5 job and a mediocre life. And then you looking at that. And then as a little text underneath, I'd say, I don't blame you, right? Or lower your gaze, brother, because I was working with Muslims. So me, when you still haven't booked a meeting, I am a head out. Just have fun with these. Just make little memes that if you received, you would find it funny. I didn't actually come up with examples for you guys with responses, but I used to get so many responses saying, dude, love the follow-ups. And then they ended up booking a meeting. Right? This works in B2B as well. I used to get this a lot with my students, like, dude, this works with B2B. They're still humans. They're not some serious people with like a tie on and they look at the meme and they're like, huh? He said this? What a disgrace. And they just smash their phone, right? They don't care. It's a meme. It's funny. So what comes next? Now you've got the permission message made. You've got the VSL that you're preparing to script and you've got the VSL. Remember, it can't be longer than 2 minutes long because otherwise it won't let you send it. And now you've got the meeting that's being booked and now you're following up with prospects. Well, next you've got the objections. And the 4 main objections I've kind of seen are, tell me the price first, I'm not interested, I have no free time, and then tell me how. The no free time, you'll mostly get it after the VSL when you propose a meeting. The not interested, you'll often get twice. Once after the permission message, and maybe after the VSL. But most of the time, it's going to come before the permission message. This is 100% going to come after the initial message. Like, I've never had it with, like, I've had it twice with the VSL, but most of the time, people already clock on that you're trying to sell something, and they're like, yeah, tell me the price first. But you will get after the VSL. I'll show you how to handle both cases. And then tell me how. How do you guarantee 30 meetings? How do you guarantee 10 new Invisalign patients every single month? Some of them are curious as to how you do it. So with the tell me the price first objection, usually what I want to tell you, brother, as a main principle, Echi, is do not tell them the price whatsoever. Never tell them the price. If they ask you how much it is, Don't tell them the price. Don't tell them how much it's going to cost. Don't tell them that it's even paid. Don't tell them anything. What I usually say is, that's a great question, Cash. Honestly, it depends per business and their needs. And then you reiterate your offer, right? When I say reiterate your offer, reiterate your guarantee. You can say it's on a pay on results basis. You can say that if we don't get them the 10 meetings in the first place, then they don't pay us at all. So the only way for me to give you an accurate price would be to understand exactly what you're after, right? Happy to jump on a call to discuss. That's it. Or, great question, John, it's completely pay on results, open to the meeting. So what you do is sell the meeting. You don't sell the offer, remember, you sell the meeting. I got a little bit of hair that's annoying me. There you go. So you keep selling the meeting. Don't sell the results. Well, sorry, you do sell the results, but you sell the results as if they're attached to the meeting, not to the actual service, right? So that's what you do. Tell me the price first. You don't tell them the price. You either tell them it's completely pay on results, and if they're open to the meeting, or you tell them it's a great question, and honestly, it depends per business, and you can't give them an exact pricing without understanding their situation, so you'd have to understand their situation first. So the next one would be not interested. Not interested, I found actually really easy to handle, because the thing about not interested is it's the same with cold calls. Most people, when they get the not interested message, they just die inside. Like, I used to die inside when I got the not interested message. I remember, I'll give you 2 examples. I remember on a cold call, this guy was like, yeah, I'm not interested, and then hung up on me. And I was like, oh my goodness, I picked the wrong niche. I picked the wrong business model. Nobody's going to want to buy from me. Obviously, that's not the case. Most of the time, the not interested is a knee-jerk response. It's them not wanting to be sold to. That's it. It's just they don't want to be sold to, so they just say, I'm not interested. So with this, you almost want to kind of twist it back onto them and make them realize they are interested, right? You want to make them understand, no, I know you're interested, right? I know you need this. So what you do is you say, I get it. I wouldn't be interested if I got a message from someone I didn't know offering me, and then whatever your offer is, offering me 10 new Invisalign patients every single month. I assume you're already fully booked. And I put /outcome because you might have a different outcome that you're selling. But for me, it was, I would say, I assume you're already fully booked. And 9 times out of 10, they'd say, no, I'm not fully booked. So I'd say, okay, cool. Well, would you be open to knowing how to be fully booked with, and then the kind of outcome that I'm talking about? Are you open to be fully booked with new Invisalign patients every single month? Yes, I am. Okay, perfect. Well, if they've seen the VSL, don't send it to them again. Just tell them to book a meeting. But if they haven't seen the VSL, send them the VSL. Say, I've got a 2-minute video that explains the details. Let me know what you think. That's the key aspect, right? Let me know what you think. So if they haven't seen the VSL, if they said, I'm not interested after your initial message and not the VSL message, then what you do is you send this message and then you say, are you open to learning more? And then you send them the VSL, okay? My apologies, John. I assume you're not interested in offer, right? In getting 10 new patients every single month, or 10 new Invisalign patients, or making an extra 20K per month, or whatever your offer is, right? I assume you're not interested in offer because you've got it all sorted. Again, 9 times out of 10, they're like, no, we don't have it all sorted. That's it. Okay, well, are you open to, and then the offer, and then bam, get them to watch the VSL or get them to book a meeting. I personally think this is the easiest objection to handle because they are interested. They're just being stubborn. And that's okay. You just got to make sure, like, if someone's being stubborn, you can't just give up on them. You can't be like, no, it's a power play. I gave up on them. It's a power play. It's not a power play. You're just a pussy. So just follow up with them, handle the objection, get them to book a meeting with you. If they want to sign on as a client, they will sign on as a client. Very simple, right? So the other objection I used to get a lot is the no free time. So what I would say is kind of the principle of it is you want to make sure they understand that this meeting is going to be incredibly valuable to them. That it's not just going to be a cost associated with maybe the service, because that's maybe what they're thinking in their head. Oh, this meeting is going to be around, this guy's maybe going to charge $2,000 per month. So I want to, prepare for that. I don't really want to show up to the meeting if he's going to make me pay or whatever. You want to understand that they can get value from the meeting itself. So what I say is, if I showed you how we guaranteed 10 to 30 new Invisalign patients every single month, and in 15 minutes, you knew exactly how you could do the same, would it be worth those 15 minutes? Most of the time they say yes. And if they say yes, I send them the meeting calendar. And that's it. Like, that's how you handle it. All you have to really say is, if you are open to finding out how this solution that you're looking for, and you're going to know this solution at the end of the call, whether the call is 15 minutes, by the way, the call was 45 minutes. They know it's 45 minutes. I say after 15 minutes as if like they'll already know at the start. So it's going to be a value driven call, right? Even if it's not, even if it's just a normal sales call, they're still going to figure some things out. Like, it's still valuable to them. Okay. So the tell me how, I used to hate this so much because I'd be like, why are you being so nosy, right? Chill out. What if I don't want to tell you how I do things? But anyways, I used to be incredibly emotional, right? So you're probably not like me. So what I would say is, love the curiosity. We get offer and outcome. So we get 10 new Invisalign patients with our, and then you name the system. I used to call it the Invisalign Smile system. So I didn't trademark it because I'm not actually allowed to trademark it. Invisalign Smile as a company, but love the curiosity. We get 10 to 30 new Invisalign patients every single month with our Invisalign Smile system. It takes care of things from generating the leads to making them interested buyers, and I'm more than happy to share the details with you on the call. That's it. And another response, I never actually did this myself, by the way, but I had a friend, Eric, who found it incredibly useful, and he found that it works really, really well. It's basically just to say, sorry, I can't share it at all. You know, the FBI would have my neck if they knew how we, and then achieve the outcome, how we get dentist 10 new Invisalign patients every single month. So you kind of introduce a bit of humor there, make it obvious that it's humor. This is one thing I would say. Don't be scared to use humor as long as it's obvious that it's humor. Don't try and be sarcastic, right? Just try and make it really obvious that you're being humorous. So now that we know how to handle the objections, it's time to look at the metrics. This is something, like I said at the start of the video, people don't want to share. They don't want to share with you how do you actually fix the system if it's broken, because they just want you to pay for their course. And I've got a program myself, just to be transparent with you, like I've got a program myself. I have an amazing guarantee on there, and all the students, alhamdulillah, are doing pretty well, all the ones that have just started, because we opened it a week ago. But I want to share with you everything. I want to show you, if you went out and did this yourself, how it could work. So you need to have a sheet to kind of understand the prospect's name. So before we look at the metrics themselves, I want you to have a sheet with your prospect's name, their social media profile link, then at what stage they're at. And the stages are going to be, this is the link, like this is going to be the prospect themselves, right? So the lead. So you're going to have their name, and then you're going to have their social media profile. So actually, let me quickly show you an example. So you're going to have like John, right? And then you're going to have John's Facebook profile picture, or whatever, not profile picture, sorry. Link. So you're going to have John, and then you're going to have John's link next to him. And then you're going to have John, whether he's in the DM stage, whether he's in the VSL stage, or whether he's in the calendar stage, or whether he's been booked in. So every time John moves from one stage to the next, you want to copy and paste his name over there, right? VSL, then you want to copy and paste John's name into calendar, and if he's booked in, you want to put him there, okay? So you want to have these 5 sections. Perfect. I thought I counted it wrong. So you want to have these 5 sections. You want to have the lead themselves. You want to have the leads that have given you, the leads you've sent a direct message to, my bad. So this is when you send a direct message. Then you want a lead where you send them the VSL. Then when you send them your calendar, then when you send them the booking, right? Or when they book in, sorry. So let me repeat that one more time. Lead, when you've DM'd them, when you've actually sent them the direct message, when you send them the VSL, when you've sent them the calendar link, and then when they have booked in. So this is going to be the start. You're going to have a big lead list. Once you send the message, they're going to be in this section right here. You've sent them a DM. Then they're going to be in the VSL section if they've agreed to the VSL and you've sent it to them. Then if you send them your calendar link, they're going to be in this section right here. Then if they've booked a meeting with you, they're going to be in that section right there. So the key thing I want to tell you is to collect the data. Because in business, you want to make every single decision based on data, not emotions. If you find something that is working, even though it might feel boring, which is, by the way, boredom is probably the killer of most businesses, I'll be honest with you. Like when people get bored, they kill their business. Like they decide to change something that's working and it's working really well. So what you want to do is collect the data and only make decisions based on data. And I'm going to show you how to make those decisions, right? So create a spreadsheet that looks like this for data. You want to have the percentage itself, and then you want to have the number. So the number of people that viewed it, the number of people that gave a positive reply, the number of people that that you sent the calendar link, and then the number of people that booked a meeting. And then you have the percentages. And these are the percentages you should be aiming for. And by the way, on Google Sheets and Excel, whatever you decide to use, this can be calculated automatically. I'm not going to show you how to do it. It's very easy. Just look up how to do it. It's very easy to figure out percentages anyways. But basically what you do is, let's say you have 100 people that viewed it and you sent 150 messages. So this is the number itself. Then how many people viewed it? How many people replied positively? How many people did you send a calendar link to? And then how many people booked a meeting? And the metrics you're aiming for is 60 to 80% of people viewing the message, not replying, just viewing the message. And then 15 to 25% of people replying positively, giving you that thumbs up. And then 5 to 15% of people asking you for their calendar link, right? And then 2 to 5% of people booking a meeting. So I had a 6% appointment booking rate. This was, alhamdulillah, exceptional, right? Thank God. It was all thanks to Allah. So this is above KPI, but everything else was basically within KPI. Right? Maybe this one was 1% higher, but that's just 1%. Obviously, that's 1%, but that means a lot. So this is the KPIs, this is the conversions that I had in my system, and this is the conversions you should be aiming for. So don't change anything, even if it's below KPI, only when 60 people have viewed your permission message, right? So once 60 people have viewed your permission message, that's when you decide to change it. So if 60 people viewed your permission message, let me actually give you a quick example again. So let's say 60 people viewed the permission message right here. And then let's say only 5 people replied positively, right? This is not within KPI. This isn't within KPI. So what you want to do is understand, okay, cool. So I need to change something about this because not enough people have replied positively. Okay. So if 60% people viewed it, that's within KPI. Well done. Perfect. But only 5% of people from the initial message, like 5 kind of said something, then it's not within KPI. It's actually way below KPI. So this is when you look at changing your permission message in the first place, but only after 60 people have viewed it. This is what I'm saying. Like, have 60 people view it. And if only 5 people reply, or if not enough people reply, and if 0 people reply, then you change it. Do not change it before you get to that 60. This is what I'm telling you, right? And the same with your VSL. So let's say 30 people replied, and then all 30 saw the VSL. By the way, this is a very, very good thing. If this was your metric, that'd be perfect. That'd be amazing. But let's say 30 people viewed it, and then only 2 people asked for a calendar link. Only 2 people. Here you'd be like, hold on a bloody second. 30 people have viewed my VSL, but only 2 people, because they viewed the VSL, right? Those 2 people are going to be people that viewed the VSL as well, not just from the initial number, but you'll get what I'm saying. Those 2 people, that's way too low. So there's something wrong with my VSL. So this is where you look to change the VSL, right? But you only change things after 60 people have viewed, 30 people have viewed the VSL. So 60 people viewed the permission message and 30 your VSL. I'm literally repeating this so many times just so you remember this, because I made the big mistake of changing like my script every single week. Every single week I'd change my script, and that would give me another reason not to outreach, another excuse not to outreach. And obviously, if I'm making these excuses not to outreach, then I'm not going to make any results. So just stick with one thing until you collect enough data to make an informed decision on how you should change it. So this is kind of the funnel itself that you'll be following to change things. So you want to start from the bottom and work your way up. If the appointment booking rate, so if the amount of meetings you're booking is within 2 to 5%, then do not touch the system. Even if you are getting 5 people to view it, but then those 5 people end up giving you a positive reply, and then there's 5 people that give you a positive reply, get a calendar link, and then there's 5 people that get a calendar link, book a meeting, do not change a single thing. Even if 95% of other people did not even see the message, do not change a single thing. Because you might think, well, Fedi, what if I got more people to see it? Wouldn't that work? No, you literally do not know how the system would be affected. Like, just because you change something at the top doesn't mean everything at the bottom also gets wider, right? So what you want to do is, if the ABR, if the appointment booking rate is within KPI, if it's within the 2 to 5%, do not change a single thing. Just scale it. Just send more. Don't change anything. Just increase the volume, right? So don't change anything about it. Don't change your profile picture. Don't change anything. Just scale. Just increase the amount of number that you send. And if the video views themselves, so if the viewed are out of KPI, then it's an issue with your profile. The same with how many people accept your friend request and connection. So obviously during this process, before this, like, you'll be sending friend requests, you'll be sending connection requests on LinkedIn, friend requests on Facebook, and you'll be sending DMs on Instagram, right? And if people don't accept you, then it's an issue with your profile. So if, let's say, you sent 100 connection requests and only 2 people accepted it, those 98% of people, if they viewed your profile, they probably don't see you as someone who's interesting, they don't want to accept it, maybe because your profile just isn't optimized, right? It's not optimized very well. So how many people view it, the video itself? If it's below KPI, if it's below 60%, then it's most likely an issue with your profile, and you want to change your profile, right? Or on Instagram, it's that you didn't grab their attention. So if not enough people view your video or your initial message on Instagram, it's that you didn't grab their attention, okay? And a little tip on Instagram, by the way, like all their posts, comment on all their posts. Don't comment like, oh, check out my DMs. Just comment on all their posts and like all their stories and reply to all their stories, okay? So if the positive replies are out of KPI, so you're getting less than 15%, then it's an issue with your messaging / delivery / outcome. Now, what I mean by that is the messaging itself is off. Maybe you just didn't use the right language. For example, with me, remember I used, let's see if we can go back to it just so I can show you. Remember I used kind of the idea of treatments and consultations. That language, that messaging resonated with my prospects. It resonated with my niche. However, if yours just uses very basic language that they don't understand or they don't get, and it's just business language, then obviously it's not going to be as good as messaging as mine. So try and use that language as best as you can. The second part is the delivery. If you do not sound confident, if you sound incredibly shy, if you're just there stuttering. If you look like an absolute hobo, like I saw, no offense to some of you guys, right? Especially Android users. Some of your video camera quality is absolutely ass. So just stick to voice messages. Do not send a video because it looks terrible and it doesn't look very professional. So the delivery itself is very, very important. And then last but not least, the outcome. Do you see what outcome I'm sharing here? A few ways on how you can have more consultations that turn into treatments. If the outcome is one they do not resonate with, then that's what you have to change. And the recommended part, like I would start off by changing your delivery, keep the same message to change your delivery, then change the outcome, then change the messaging itself. So delivery, outcome, messaging. That's the order in which you change things. So if I come back here, right? So if the positive replies are out of KPI, then it's an issue with your messaging, delivery, and outcome. Now, the next part that's going to might be out of KPI is the calendar rate. So if the calendar rate is out of KPI, this right here, then it's because of your offer slash VSL slash delivery slash follow-ups. You see, the issue is the deeper you go into the system, the more kind of metrics you have to track, the more things you have to be aware of. But I'll start with the most important one, your offer. If the VSL is not hitting, the biggest thing it probably is your offer. Because even if your delivery is bad, even if the follow-ups is bad, even if the VSL itself is like not structured very well, if your offer is strong, they will go for it. Right? You will have at least 5% of people go for it. So make sure that your offer is working. Make sure that your offer is a good offer. And if you're uncertain, then tweak it. Get feedback from people. If they don't reply to your calendar link, like after all the follow-ups, ask them like, hey, I'm taking on feedback. Please do let me know. What about the VSL did you not like? And they'll tell you. Maybe it was the offer itself, right? So the next part would be the VSL itself, the structure. I showed you the structure to follow. Just follow that structure. Keep it under 2 minutes and speak about the outcome itself. If you're not speaking about the outcome, they're not going to care. And then focus on the delivery. Again, you have to sound incredibly confident. You have to sound certain of yourself. You have to know that this is going to work for them, even if you have no clients, Echi. You have to sound confident because your confidence isn't going to come from the results that you got. The confidence is going to come from how hard you're going to try to get them the best results possible. And then finally, the follow-ups. If you're not following up with them, then obviously you're not going to get that many people. A lot of like this 10% for my calendar rate came from the fact that I followed up with every single person, every single day, all the time. Because a lot of people after the third or fourth follow-up will say, yep, booked a time. They would have forgotten. People have to be followed up on. So do not forget to follow up. Do not forget to follow up. So once these are sorted, like once all of these things are going to be in KPI, then you'll find that your appointment booking rate will be within KPI too. Like, it'll be, like if you follow correctly with a calendar, like after you send your calendar link, if you keep following up with them, they're most likely going to book, right? So you're chilling. Like once all of these are sorted, you're going to find the appointment booking rate is probably going to be within KPI as well. Now, these are the DM flow. This wouldn't be a Fedi video. If you've watched my videos before, you know how much I'm concentrated and focused on mindset, beliefs, and Islamic psychology. So here are the beliefs you need to destroy. First, I'm going to take a sip of water. As a little side note, this is a bottle that I got from like a Syrian shop that was selling hibiscus, like hibiscus juice. Hibiscus juice was absolutely delicious. I mean, I've never tried it in my life. And I can still taste it a little bit in the rims. Like I've had this bottle for like 2 weeks since I finished the juice, but I can still taste a bit of the juice on the rims. Delicious stuff. Delicious stuff. But anyways, so the first belief you have to break is people don't want to receive cold DMs. Every single client that I signed, those 15 that I showed you, only came from cold DMs. There was no inbound. I'm not lying to you when I said I got these 15 clients in 2 months. That's not a lie. And I got them from cold DMs. The exact system I'm showing you right here. And these people thanked me for reaching out to them. They literally thanked me for reaching out to them. And you want to understand that the same is capable for you. They will thank you for reaching out to them if your offer is good. The only time you should be wary about kind of cold DMs being bad is if you're spamming people and being annoying. But with the way I'm teaching you, you are neither spamming nor are you being annoying. You're leading with their permission and you're leading with value. So do not think that people don't want to receive cold DMs. I want to receive cold DMs. If someone, like I received a cold DM from one of my business partners. Now he's my business partner, but I received a cold DM from him like 6 months ago. I was happy to receive it. Bro had an amazing offer. Obviously, I want to receive a cold DM. And a lot of these judgments, by the way, a lot of these beliefs that you have are going to be judgments from you. Maybe you don't want to receive a cold DM. If you don't want to receive one, why do you think other people don't want to receive one? Right? It's the same in sales. Like the principle in sales is that don't sell out of your own pocket. If you think paying for 10K per month for something is expensive, don't assume everyone else thinks it's expensive. Don't assume that. Just because you think it doesn't mean everyone else does. So don't think that people don't want to receive cold DMs. People do want to receive cold DMs. They really do. People hate being outreached to. Again, people hate being outreached to when they're being spammed or they're not given any value. But you are leading with their permission and their value, so people will love you reaching out to them. I mean it. Nobody will reply or buy from me because whatever reason you give is a stupid reason. Nobody will buy from you because you haven't reached out to enough people. Like, your business will fail because not enough people know about it. But if you reach out to enough people, if you get enough sales calls, someone will buy from you. It doesn't matter if you have 0 clients. It doesn't matter if you're not even experienced in what you're doing. Like, if your service delivery is absolute ass, that does not matter, right? Don't think that nobody will reply to you because, or buy from you because I don't have clients yet. How do you think people get started? People don't materialize clients out of nowhere and then be like, yeah, I saw my first client, but actually this guy was happy being my first. Like, the people don't mind being first clients if you are confident, right? This is another deep-rooted belief you have to get rid of. If you are confident on the sales call, people will buy from you. You don't have to worry about that. Cold outreach doesn't work, only inbound does. This is especially with kind of the way people are starting to pitch outreach and like starting to pitch different programs. They're all like, I'm going to show you how to do inbound leads and get inbound leads that want to buy from you, that trust you. You can get people to trust you with this exact outreach method I've given you. In fact, they might trust you even more sometimes, right? So cold outreach doesn't work, only inbound does. It's completely false. I got those 15 clients from cold outreach. Why do you think it's not possible for you? And you know what, Echi? If you want to check out the videos, go back to my videos in December and January, and you will see what I was like. During that entire period, I was making those DMs every single day. Tell me that I look exceptional. Tell me that I sound exceptional. I sound exactly like you. I had no clients at the time, but I sound exactly like you do. So go look at the proof. I'm not here telling you I was some guru beforehand and I had like loads of business experience. I had none. And I made it work. And you can make it work too. I don't like cold outreach because it's scammy. I know where this belief comes from. For me personally, it comes from my mum, because my mum used to hate getting cold calls. So my mum used to get a lot of cold calls from her company before, and like obviously like, you know, the scammers that cold call people. So a lot of the time my mum used to believe that cold calling was just scammers all the time. So when I had to cold call, I thought I was scamming people. Like, subconsciously I thought I was scamming people. Same with DMs, right? I used to always think I was scamming people because every time I received a cold message, it was a scam. You have to get rid of this belief because you understand you're not scamming anyone. And people don't think you're a scammer, especially when you lead with a very, very confident video of yourself, right? Especially when you lead with a confident video of yourself. And as you can see, Fedi here, no beard, short, horrible hair. He wasn't very confident, but he still signed the client. Why? Because I asked for permission. You can make this work. I genuinely want you to believe, Akhi, you can make this work. I promise you now, you can make this work. Promise you. So, Habibi, this is the entire system for you. Pause at whatever part of the video you want to pause to go through the entire flow system, right? Where the entire DM flow. Take a note on how you'd handle the metrics. Take a note on how you'd create the value permission message, the VSL, how to create all of that. I've given you everything, so you can go out and do it, right? And inshallah, I better see in the comments people saying I'm signing clients. But anyways, if you want to fast track this whole process, I do have a school community. It's completely free. I'm going to show you how to make 10K per month with your halal agency and how to start a halal agency if you haven't even got one yet. So feel free to join. I'll show you how. And inshallah, I get to speak to you soon. But anyways, Akhi, assalamu alaikum. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and like the video if you find it very useful. Inshallah, I get to see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.